Let's see what happens because nothing's turning. But look, I don't know if
I can't hear them now.
Can you hear me now?
Sorry, George.
How about now?
Oh yeah.
I get muted a lot, actually.
I love it. It's louder than you.
All right.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Where's the camera? There we are. We're live, and it is Synergy Solutions. So we have the doctors here, and let me see if I got myself enough organized today to get everybody tuned in the right spot. So there we are. Pretty good organization, and I got a little bit of alignment to get everybody at home to be able to see everybody clearly. So let's go ahead and say welcome. And Dr. Sasha, where are you at in the world over there?
Where am I at? I've been outside admiring the spring flowers.
And I made well. That being said, we're international here, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking across the pond. The Atlantic, yeah, so, Sasha, you're in the United Kingdom, correct?
Yep.
And Vesna, where are you located?
In Croatia.
Croatia. And Dr. George and I are near Philadelphia. You're on the Pennsylvania side, Dr. George.
I'm in Philly.
Philly. And I'm in New Jersey side. So we are a little bit international, I'll say, and we're welcoming people around the world here today. Welcome. And we are streaming live in a couple different places. And once a month, we do go live and we share the remote healing work that we do, and known as KST. And we call this Synergy Solutions. And what is KST? It's a system that has the ability to communicate with you, the living being. And there's feedback mechanisms. And this has been used throughout time and history. From dowsing rods to pendulums to just intuitive abilities humans have naturally born in. And through research and science and groups of professionals over the years, finding out different features of neurology, body, well, we have practical, clinical, and research evidence to support everything that we have to say here. And so, welcome aboard. We're going to be helping people tune in to a higher vibration so that you can navigate your world in a better, more harmonious way. So that being said, every time we go live, we have a conversation about energy, frequency, vibration, the nature of the nervous system, the human body, the immune system. And we set intentions, and then we deliver the healing, the forces that result in the body processing and living more congruently in life. But today's title is Injuries, Thoughts, and what it was kind of a clever title, but it's basically the matrix of how it all interconnects. So, Dr. George, I'm gonna call on you, Dr. George. Am I free to share a little bit, Dr. George?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, he's an avid bike rider, bicyclist, and was riding distance like he always loves to do, more than I would care to do right now. And well, he took two big spills on a rainy day this past Saturday, falling off the bike, and he shows up in my office yesterday, barely like a wounded soldier walking in from a battle-worn field, and his wife brought him in, and we cleared any broken bones. There wasn't any broken bones there, George, but we did the work, did some adjusting, got your body. Yeah, George has a bad finger injury. He'll tell you a little more about that. But we started to help George see some of the dots. You know, we can't always see that blind spot. And that's why we have teamwork. That's why you go to professionals that you learn to love and trust and get those opinions about things. George and I, we had a big discussion yesterday. We had a big adjustment session yesterday. And I know part of our intention today is to help George clear more and recover and align to where he needs to be. I'm already claiming that intention for George right there.
Thank you.
Um, George, please, what did you get from our session yesterday? And we'll talk more about that with injuries and our thoughts and our life's experiences. And Vesna and Sasha, I'm going to ask you to comment on George's story here in just a moment.
Well, yeah. The 90 miles in the cold wind rain wasn't that bad. Falling off the bike was kind of bad. Hit the ground like really hard. First on my right side, on the ribs, and probably 15 minutes later fell down hard on the left side and hurt my knee, my hip, and my finger. I was able to ride, a couple more hours, I guess, to get to where I had to get. But when I talked to, and I thought, what a pain in the ass falling down twice, and once on each side of the body. And so Kevin was saying, well, there's a male side and a female side, and both of those were activated. We had to cut off my ring finger the day after my 17th wedding anniversary.
Cut off the ring,
Kevin was like,
right?
Yeah, the ring. We didn't cut off the wedding or the marriage.
Nor the finger.
Nor the finger. Yeah, no, there's some question about that. It was kind of revelatory. He goes, 17, and he just kept putting layers and layers of meaning on what it could be. So I've been, trying to look inside and go, what is this all about? And I think it's calling into question some of how I do my practice and maybe my life. And so no conclusive things yet, but I'm definitely taking a closer look at the why, because, are there really accidents? Not really. And, Kevin worked a lot on the emotional state of things, and, my head cleared up quite a bit, and I'm feeling somewhat better. I'm still moving very slowly, and I'm not sleeping all that well, but definitely moving in the right direction. And I think that, to have seen a traditional crack the bones chiropractor, that would have put me in a hospital, I think, yesterday. So getting to things on an emotional and energetic level is definitely, in the state I was in yesterday and today, really, it's very apparent that this is a very powerful way to address deep concerns. And yeah, that's all I got to say right now.
Very good. So, George, thank you for commenting. Dr. Vesna, your thoughts on people's emotional states. And I don't want to say emotional states, like not like George is upset or something, but there's things he's been contemplating in life, and he commented on his practice and on perhaps his life in general, and navigating perhaps in different ways. Have you ever seen, and Sasha, this question for you, and if you have seen it, comment on it. Have you ever seen people's situations in life cause them physical pain or physical issues in their body?
Yeah.
Sasha, do you have any story come out to you specifically that you can remember?
Well, I was just thinking about what George has said, and perhaps the powers that be were trying to tell him to slow down in life a bit.
How dare they?
Well, I agree wholeheartedly, and not from an intuitive place. And I love to operate in that intuitive way, but I also love to find data and the information that supports my assumptions, and test those things out. And so, with that being said, the day of George's accident is the day that Mercury went retrograde. Sasha, I don't know if you follow astrology or not, and I don't want to use the word astrology. There's a lot of dogma with that word, though the astronomer's point of view of how planetary bodies move in the sky, the planet associated with communication went in reverse motion the day George, around the time, George, if I may be so bold, was your injury in the accident in the afternoon?
Yeah, it was early afternoon.
Yeah, so it was really peaking out around 3 to 6 to 9, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. That 6 hour window was when it was like, and so all the things that we had been mulling over, and I don't know what George was mulling over in his life. I don't know what anyone's mulling over, but the things we've communicated, how we communicate, things was said, not said, things we wanted to say, we didn't say, things we regret saying, all those iterations in different areas of our life. However, this time, this retrograde is occurring, it's happening around a lot of things associated with our relationship with things, and whether it's a business or whether it's an object or a person, friendship, long-term relationship, or your big passions, whatever that is, that those areas of life are being, and how we communicate in those areas of life are being prompted to be addressed. When that planet goes in that reverse motion in the sky, those planets have been shown to be correlated to the frontal lobe of the brain. And we know that there is an effect. Just like in wild old brain studies, they would put magnets and energy fields into the brain, and people would have memories and would speak phrases and, make the frog leg kick if you hit the certain part of the brain just right. So these frequencies that are associated with electromagnetics and other forces from the planets are subtle, yes, but they influence things that come up in our reality. And if I may be so bold to use George as an example, he's been hemming and hawing over decisions. And I brought his wife in for this part, and I was like, "How does George make decisions? He go back and forth a lot."
Continually.
Continually. And so George is basically slamming against the left side of his decisions and the right side of his decisions, and where he was injured, I look at energetically, what's that, the shoulder, what's that relate to? And George has a copy of the book there. You kind of look at arms and shoulders, and then the left hip, what that relates to, left leg. George had all his injuries. I'm like, well, okay, what's that mean in the body? And I'm like decoding George based on his injuries and not knowing what he's thinking about. I don't need to know what he's thinking about, but I know what the tone. It's like the waves of the ocean. I know the surfers report. So George is trying to surf in the rocky waters over there because the waves are the best over there.
Yeah, right.
He took a couple spills. I could throw more analogies in there.
It happens.
So I spoke long-winded, but any stories, Vesna, Sasha, of a patient, or even yourself, that this maybe is clicking some thoughts on? And if it's okay, go ahead.
I would first like to say to George, well done. I think, yes, don't slow down, just keep going. I think it's great that you do such a long bike ride. And, I know a lady who she had skiing accident at the age of 70 something. I thought, wow, I would really like to have skiing injury at the age of 70 something. So I think great. And think how clever your body is. So it kind of kicked you on one side, and then it tried to kind of fix that by kicking you on the other side. But I think you're lucky you can afford these injuries because you have great chiropractor close by. That's privilege, isn't it?
It is.
Well, it is, and I value George. I mean, I told George yesterday, he's helped me out so many times over the years. So it's easy to say yes to helping other people out. And Vesna, what a great point of view. George, your thoughts on Vesna's comment?
Well, I think it'd be great if she was skiing at 70. I don't know about the crash part. You may not need that.
Small injury. It means that I'm fit at 70 to go skiing. That's what I would think.
Well, I think it's coming up on 6 years that I woke up in the ER having crashed my bike on the way to work. Was knocked out for a half hour. Yeah, broke my face and everything. 10 days later, I did a 170-mile bike ride. So it didn't slow me down that much.
Oh, wow.
Maybe it straightened you out, George. Maybe it straightened you out.
It could have balanced me in some way, yeah. It makes me more determined to keep riding, that's for sure. Apparently, I'm not good at it yet. I keep falling off.
We live and learn.
Yeah.
I think, if anything, it brings attention to a scenario.
Right.
And now, I don't ever like riding my bike on the white line. George had nonetheless slipped on a on the line that was painted on the road, they're not like the road. They're slippery when they're wet.
Mm.
And I usually know that,
Mm.
but a little moment of inattention, getting in the zone, and I could see it coming. I could feel myself going down, and then the first part of the crash was slow motion, and then I was slammed into the ground before I knew it. I was like, shit. So I got up and started riding again, of course. And then it happened again, and I was like, oh man. So I've got things to think about.
And we have some comments here. George looks pretty good today under the circumstance. Well
Yeah,
done, George. Well done.
thank
Are
you.
you off work, George?
Yeah, I took the week off. I'll go back on
No.
Monday. So yeah,
Okay.
that was a good move.
Yeah.
It's good sometimes to have a pause button and rethink. And yes, like the other day, I bought this really. I was somewhere up in the mountains and bought this really nice liqueur made from all the herbs that grow around, and I dropped it up on top of the steps. So I thought, where was I at that moment when that happened? Obviously, I wasn't really paying attention. I was tired from the traveling, but it's always a reminder. Think just what happened to me. Where was I at that point?
Yeah, the presence process.
I would have glass slivers in my tongue if that happened to me.
Oh boy, George. Okay. Well, George likes
Oh boy. Don't waste it. Yeah.
Don't waste it. So Sasha, any other final thoughts for George, for people, for the audience out there, their thoughts, their injuries, how that's connected, what to do with those thoughts, how to pay attention to your injuries, any suggestions?
Taking some high potency arnica is very good.
Doing that.
Yeah. High potency arnica. And then I said, go ahead, George.
Well, Sasha said something about slowing down. My plan for this week was going to be to work Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, which I usually don't work Thursday, so I could take off Friday to go to a camping trip in Western Pennsylvania, which I felt like that was going to way overextend me. I wasn't really looking forward to doing all those things this week. So pretty quickly, I thought this is a week off I've needed for a while. So yeah, I slowed myself down, I guess. Now I got time to reflect.
Well, it's just like Vesna said, your body has the privilege of knowing you can handle a hard crash and get what you really need.
Yeah, right.
Some healing, mind and body there, George. Some rest time. There's so much. Now I never lived this, of course, out of that. But I remember seeing footage and photographs of people going for healing retreats, essentially, I guess I'll call it asylum, but basically out in nature, to a building. They're basically nourished through proper eating, and they're out in the sun reading books, just relaxing, and just being. And something said to that these days, where we're rush, 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 go, go, go. I mean, the data, the amount of information people are consuming today is the whole lifetime years ago.
Yeah.
So I think I want to turn this whole computer off when I'm done this show. Very good, very good. So let's go ahead and shift gears. We want to move into, we've talked about intention with George, though really I think it all applies for ourselves, is to find that place of peace within. And that's going to be my intention for today, for me. And I'd love to share that intention with others out there. Dr. Vesna, any thoughts? Dr. Sasha, any thoughts for you today?
Just happy to be present and to do the best that I can at this moment.
So Vesna will do the intention that each of the providers will be clear and doing the best that they can to receive information to apply right place at the right point for all and connect to wanting this sort of healing. And Dr. Sasha, your thoughts for today?
Well, I'll do some OD and send some whatever's appropriate to George, and then I'll see what's appropriate for the whole group.
Wonderful. And so what Dr. Sasha is referring to is each and every time we do this, there's a placeholder in front of each of the providers here. And that placeholder represents all who say yes to receiving this alignment at that quantum level. And we've demonstrated, and we can show it again down the road here, we will, of course, but the mind, body, spirit, and soul levels are connected through this understanding of scientific terms, intention, information, all the way to the physical realm of the body. So information all the way to the physical functionality of living and breathing and walking and moving. So that being said, all who desire to receive this form of healing, say yes. And that knowledge, it will include you here now in front of each of the providers using this technique that we call the OD. And that's called the occipital drop. That's our version of how to get the yes and the no to do what to know what to do to accomplish this intention for today. And when that's complete, we're complete. And we'll wrap up after that. Okay, so that being said, we're going to stream this public out to everybody out there. That's a great thing to do today. For all that's interested, synergysolutionsessions.com. I'll run that on the bottom. People can see that and get access to that as we go ahead and move forward. So let's go ahead. If you're home, if you're watching, if you're listening, give a thumbs up. Put your feet on the ground. Take a few steps, press in and out. We shall begin. Doctors. Doctors, still working. Go ahead and continue work. Done. Thumbs up. Excellent. Go ahead. I'm gonna turn down the music that's going out to George. Come on back in. There you are, loud and clear. Okay. Well, those birds were wonderful, but I wanted to just shift them off for a few moments. And then let's go over the conversation real briefly of what each of the doctors found, and then any significance or any information that they deem um, necessary to share. Go ahead and share. So, Dr. Sasha, please, I'll start with you. Excuse me. I'll start with you. What did you note? What did you find? And I got a comment as I'm saying that. I want to excuse myself for having that light burping there. However, with that being said, there's a clue for my psyche because I became aware of something as I was saying to Dr. Sasha, and I was like, what? A hiccup. And I look at, now this is my personal perspective at this point. However, I have a big collection of evidence to support what I'm going to say. Literally, there's some interference about the question I was going to ask Sasha, and I held back on something for whatever the reason was. I don't know. I haven't investigated that. But there was a perturbance in my consciousness around, well, that's the third chakra associated with my own beliefs about my own thoughts, about my own statements. Anyway, wanted to point that out. So Sasha, I know I think you noticed it, and I wanted to share it because I felt compelled to share it. So here we are. Dr. Sasha, what did you find today? And
I didn't notice anything specific from you, Kevin.
Very good. Well, today's title was thoughts and pain, how they all integrate. So I wanted to relate that as I noted it happening, as I'm watching myself, like all these different cameras go like, burping in front of everybody. Anyways, please, Sasha, take this reins for me.
Okay, I checked out George first, and now this is the difference. What it's important not to have expectations, isn't it? Because I was expecting to get a physical adjustment after a very physical accident, but I got emotional. I got grief, and it cleared with a Reiki symbol and a sphenoid.
Very good.
And it did clear, so whatever it was cleared. And then I checked out everyone on the call, and it was an aura. It was a lower body aura. That went to absolutely everybody, and that was it. That was it.
Thank you, Sasha, for sharing. Dr. Vesna, what did you find? What did you note today?
Very simple today. Did squamous suture on both sides, and C1 and C7.
Beautiful.
That was.
Thank you. I want to jump right in because my first adjustment was the sagittal suture right here, right down the middle, and C1. That was all.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not true. But believe it or not, I asked God anything else you want me to do today, and yes, adjust Archangel spot on that, spot on Raphael. I don't know. And so to me, it was very spiritual connection today. And this is the point where we have our connection to the divine communication, 7th chakra, and C1. That's that first bone in the neck where the brain connects to the rest of the body. Essentially, that's the gatekeeper. Some people talk about the seat of the soul. Well, I mean, it's very important within the chiropractic field. But Dr. George, I want to hear your experience today. I want to hear what you found, what you worked on, you noted. But I was just intrigued by what Dr. Vesna said. She adjusted the sutures on the side and C7 and C1, and Sasha's here working on the lower body aura. Just seems perfect. I see that. So nonetheless, Dr. George.
Well, I entered through the kidney as usual, and then Atlas from the left side came up, hit Atlas, and I was done. and so I just sat and felt what was going on, and I found myself swaying back and forth and leaning hard to one side and the other side, and felt my heart shift at one point. I usually don't notice much during these sessions, but that was pretty profound. So thank you, everybody.
Welcome. I may dare say, I know this is real facts. Hold on, this is not dare saying. When we're injured, we're more sensitive. The body part itself is sensitive. The inflammation factors. I mean, someone can breathe on it and it hurts.
Notice that. Just breathing, getting up and lying down. Oh boy.
So,
Yeah.
in essence, George, you're more sensitive at every level.
Right. Yeah. A lot of introspection today, and just humble.
It's a great day of receiving, George, and you know, let life take you where it needs to go. And I really truly say this and believe this, and I'm advising this as those that take any kind of, I guess you could say, clinical advice from this comment. What we do here is to allow this shift to occur, to be aware of your own beliefs and ask questions about, like, why do I think this way, or why do I think this is, and allow insight to come, and perhaps there's a different way of seeing life that you weren't fully tapped into. Perhaps there's something to expand, perhaps there's something to see in new ways, and not necessarily go is the way forward. So going forward is the way.
Right.
Just maybe a different way of going about it. So
Right.
take that into consideration, everybody, and thank you for all your assistance. And I tell you, after this session, I feel very peaceful and calm right now. I tell you, and today's session was very simple. And for those of you that have been following Dr. George and I's commentary back and forth on the numbers, George, today I gotta tell you, it was like I'm in like the double digits of millions today. Yeah.
Going up.
I don't know what that means, really. I don't know. But at a consciousness level, there's part of individuals or beings that have life force energy. They're saying yes. So thank you for your support, and thank you for your contribution, and thank you for sharing. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. Dr. Kevin Gerini here. We got the KST crew, Dr. George, Dr. Sasha, Dr. Vesna. And you see the website growing, scrolling below, synergysolutionsessions.com. Go there, see how we're helping people, whole new level. And for those that are struggling to put money together, as you share this program, when you sign up for your affiliate link, get people to sign up because they like this kind of connection. They like they're getting the value in their life. They're seeing mindset change, their body change in different ways. Well, they contribute, and then you can contribute too. Get back in and get live. So nonetheless, we go here at least once a month, sometimes twice a month. We go live to everybody in the public. Otherwise, synergysolutionsessions.com, contribute, and help this keep rolling forward. Blessings and best regards to everybody. Take care.
Thank you.
Everybody.
Bye, everyone. Get well soon, George.
Thank you so much. Will do.
Take care.